started to, and then
Oh,
I
I
just kept
know. Listen,
I'm
Barlow,
like this close.
I know you was ready to kick it in, man. So what's up, y'all, man? First of all, I know you're looking at your phone, you're looking at your Facebook page. You're like, what is going on? This bar podcast that I thought was long gone, laid to the side, is actually popping up in my news feed and my notifications again, man. So it really is God's providence, man. I reached out to Virgil and I reached out to Barlow, which are two pivotal parts of this movement, man. And so before we get into it, I'm gonna let those that don't know the guy that does the introduction for not only this podcast, but a lot of podcasts and so much more and so much more and so much more. My brother T Barlow, brother. Introduce yourself, my friend.
Grace and peace, T. Barlow, one of the original. We go back. It started with Dwayne from B&D into what this morphed into the Bar Podcast, Biblical Reform. Used to be the host of Biblical and Reform Spitters. Where like around that time, man, you was hearing some of the greatest of that era in Christian hip hop. And man, and now just pastoring. Just came off my second year pastoring. Still doing music. You can Google T Barlow, you'll find me somewhere, whether it be Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, Bandcamp. I'm gonna tell y'all to go right now. Go to Bandcamp. Bandcamp is the best spot. You'll get everything on Bandcamp. Yeah, man. Husband married one of the original B&D members. We have a couple of B&D babies.
B&D babies.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're going on our 11th year, man.
That's blessing, brother.
11 years of a honeymoon and so forth. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, man.
No.
Working to the praise of God's glorious grace, man. Like how you have a bivocational pastor. I think I'm like a quad vocational, because like I'm pastoring. I serve as a chaplain through Release Incorporated, in which I go into for lack of a better phrase, is a group home, but it's a placement for at-risk boys. I do that on Fridays for about a good 4 hours. But my main bread and butter right now, because pastoring, I don't make a whole lot of money pastoring. My main bread and butter is coming from working at the Nebraska Correctional Youth Facility as the religious coordinator there. And then also I am 1/3 of the ownership of a business called Seniors Helping Seniors. And that's where we hire senior citizens to go and do home care for other senior citizens and so forth. And so yeah, man, that's what I do to try to stay afloat.
No, that's fire, man. That's fire. So many directions I want to go, brother. Me and Barlow, like you mentioned, like just the testament of him being married for 11 years, that lets you know how long we've been doing this thing, man, how long we've been at this thing. And it started straight through social. Never met this brother. I think you had like a video or something, and like we reached out, and like so much has like spawned from that, man. So many relationships, a marriage, kids have been produced from a connection, man, from way back, brother.
That's providence of God, man. Like seriously,
it's amazing, man. But I wanted to, it's so funny, man, because I was gonna make the joke. You were saying how pastor's not making enough money yet. I was gonna tell you, I can help you, brother. Like starting this Sunday, this is what you need to do. Listen up. Close the doors. Close the doors. I promise.
I'm so mad because my ears perked too. It's like, this gonna be good.
I promise. You close them doors, brother.
Close the doors.
You can be a full-time pastor if you close those doors, brother. Listen.
Oh my goodness.
Man. But you know what? That's it. I'm actually glad I went that way, because that's where we started, bro. Like we started calling out fake preachers. We started calling out, people that were fleecing the sheep, taking advantage. And that was our beginning, man. So, man, for those that don't know, I don't think I ever heard this from you, Barlow, because we kind of was on this trek, man. What put you in that mind frame to be bold enough to start standing up for that? This, because I know for a long time, people like don't do. What was that process like for you?
Yeah, man. That's a good question. What happened was, so I grew up in the church.
Mm-hmm.
right? But I was one of those. I was hokey pokey with my Christianity. You know, one
He's a
foot in,
hokey
one foot
pokey.
out. Yeah, and but like really, like I saw G. Craig Lewis,
Mm-hmm.
and he came to Omaha. I was like in one of the front rows or whatever, and his Truth Behind Hip Hop thing really kind of catapulted me into this kind of like discernment ministry phase,
Mm-hmm.
so to
Mm-hmm.
speak, right? And that's kind of what did it. Now, mind you, though, here's the interesting thing piece about that. Um, I grew to be real legalistic without even having a full understanding of the gospel, of how it
Talk about
worked,
it.
and so whereas God used G. Craig Lewis in a mighty way, it still also kind of led me to kind of a toxicity with my interactions with people within the church and outside of the church.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
like there was the zeal without knowledge.
Yes, absolutely.
And within B&D, I think we were hitting on some very important subjects.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still lacking grace.
Yep.
I was still lacking some again certain theological truths that really needed to be addressed and so forth. But like yeah, that it started with the G Craig, like his boldness inspired me to be bold, and then like I ended up coming across other bold preachers like a
Yeah.
Paul Washer,
Mm-hmm.
like a Bodie Bacham,
Mm-hmm.
even John MacArthur, like R.C. Sproul, like these guys were bold. But then I began to realize, like, and this is kind of what led us to hit, which is crazy. I think like you and I were kind of like reforming around the same time,
Yep.
like with our own little personal journeys. But it was
Yep.
like, and to the point to where really, when it comes out of there, like the original like B&D like team, like I think like you and I mean my wife, but she's like she's background, with so more, but like really like we're the last few, I
Yeah.
was the last two really from
Yeah.
the original group. From that
Yeah.
original group, shout out to everybody from that original group. I don't want to start calling names, let's not forget. But
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but like we started, like I don't know what it was, like we were hearing something,
Mm-hmm.
and it was beginning to make sense to us. We began to see like,
Mm-hmm.
oh snap, and for me, what led me into to this biblical reform piece was just like, hey, I'm doing really good at exposing the sin,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I'm not doing that great of a job at exposing the gospel, bringing
Mm-mm.
light to the gospel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so like yeah, man, so like you. That's why I say like you were a providential piece in my life, in my spiritual walk, which I thank God for you. And I just need to make sure that you know that.
Oh man, appreciate that, brother. Like it was the same because I immediately was feeling like an alien again. You know how you
Yeah.
find out something is like, I'm in this weird space because it was the whole G. Craig Lewis thing on my side as well. But when the reform thing started happening, it was like, okay, I'm real. Am I an alien again? And we kind of like, like, what do you think about? What do you think about? And it was like, oh, okay, we in the same boat, man. I think I remember even asking you that, like, I've been looking at this. What do you think about this? And then you was like, bro, I'm here already. Like, I'm trying to.
Yeah, yeah. And matter of fact, I will say this much: like around the same time, like Christy,
Yep.
like she was kind of going through the same thing,
Yep.
and really like that was my fault. Like I mean, my fault. I want to say my fault. I'm not trying to take glory for it, but what I mean is like out because what happened was. I started listening because with G. Craig, it was like, man, I ain't listening to no rap. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I
Right.
really listened to the regular guy because G. Craig had me like mad at like everybody in the gospel
Everybody.
industry, right? And so like, but like I ended up coming across a Bizzle song, which
Mm-hmm.
said "Dear Hip Hop," and I was like, wait a minute, like this doesn't sound wicked at all,
Mm-mm.
right?
Mm-mm.
And then I somehow I think my first Shailene song was "With All My Mind," and I think Ezekiel
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
had kind of put us on the game to that. So I
Yep.
was like, yo, this doesn't sound wicked. And then I
Mm-hmm.
heard The Greatest Story Ever Told by Shailene. I was like, yo, I
Mm-hmm.
said, oh, I'm sold, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
so I started looking for more Shailene and listening to more Shailene. And then there was this song called Mission Accomplished.
Yep.
And Mission Accomplished wrecked me theologically.
Yep.
Because hindsight being 2020, I see now, I think he was making John Owen's argument
Mm-hmm.
from the depth of death. But like just I remember hearing that song and I remember talking to Christy and I was like, hey, this whole thing about Calvinism. and you know, saying and limited atonement. And I remember her saying like, "Yeah, man, that doesn't sound biblical." I say, "Yeah, you're right, it doesn't." But here's this argument here, right? And start talking about like, well, you know, like we always say God can do anything but fail. So if his intention was to try to save everybody and he doesn't, did he fail?
There you go.
And I remember Christy going like, and at that point, it's like, man, like, yo, hold on. Like, and so for me, what it was, it's like I said, okay, I gotta calm down here. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to look at the other side's argument, because at the time, the other side's argument was the reformed argument. I'm going to look at that and I'm going to use that. I'm going to argue against where I stand. I'm going to see if there's holes in my argument. And what I come to find is that like the way that what I believed about the gospel, there was some inconsistencies there. Whereas with the biblical reform doctrine, I was like, okay, I see now. And then the cage stage, you know. So yeah. But like, no, it's been an immaculate journey, which, you know, I told you yesterday that I've started to write a book based on the music.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
I was gonna say, like, when we come back to it, I actually touch on all of that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. We're gonna get there, B. We're gonna get there. But no. So to one correction to your story, it was actually Adam that put us on Shaolin.
Was it Adam? Okay.
Yeah, it was Adam. Yeah, it was Adam that put us
Adam
on
Jones.
Shaolin. Yeah.
I still see him online from now and then.
Yeah. That was because that's who put me on, and then because I remember listening and being like, it's like I love the flow and the theology, and I was like, I don't know about this predestination stuff, but you know, you know, it took a while, you know, and it was playing, but yeah, no, so that is just amazing just to hear your story, because again, it lines up so much with mine and just the journey of this and how we all set this up. But you know, I'm gonna take you back, brother. Okay. You know, the day that I really figured out that you were like a legit artist, rapper, was that time there was a challenge and Antwar did it and you did it and y'all asked me to do it and I bombed it, and I was like, oh, these boys can rap for real. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that. Yeah, that was I forgot all about that. Yeah. I hope that video resurfaced, because
no, it needs to be deleted wherever it is. It needs. I was like, oh, these boys ain't playing. Like this is art right here. Like, so that was like the moment I was, and it was so funny because y'all was so nice. Y'all was like, yeah, man, you know, so you don't rap. Okay, it's all good. No worries. No, you got the podcast thing, bro. You good.
Yeah. I'm glad you know your lane. Because there's some cats who don't rap, but they be trying to rap. You just be like, yeah, praise God that you know, like, man, this is right here. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And also to go back before, because I know where I want to go, but I want to go back also. For me, with the transition as far as like discernment, you know, to just, you know, gospel centered, you know, biblical ideology, to me it was the inconsistency on the entertainment. And I always talk about this with my homeboys, like, okay, we can't listen to hip-hop, but we can watch this movie Transformers, you know, that they're saying the same words just not to a beat.
right.
You know, and so that was, I just wanted to throw that out there. I always tell my homeboys about that, like that inconsistency was the rabbit hole for me to kind of get out of, not necessarily get out of discernment, but just, you know, have a more balanced approach to it. And then, you know, you talked about we calling out the sins over here and we finding all these sins, but then you remember like this sin, right? This wretched, this wretched man that I am, you know, that I'm always dealing with, I'm always killing, I'm always trying to slay, you know, and that's where that doctrine really brings that up, you know, that you have to deal with it. And when you look at it from that standpoint, then the grace goes up, like, okay, you know, he graced me, I'm gracing you. Right. My grace is extended to you as well.
Indeed, right, because it causes you to now not bring a soft approach to sin, but bring a loving, direct approach to sin. And say, like, listen, man, it's not that I think that I'm up here and you're down here. It's like, yo, we're all standing in the need of the salvation that comes by Christ alone. and yet we have this means of grace within the fellowship to be able to hold each other accountable and to help each other as we walk this Christian walk.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, all right, brother. You got something that you're working on that
Yes.
we are excited about. You know,
Yeah.
the book.
Yes.
I can't tell you, like when you said it, I was like, man, this is just it's God's power, man. I had no idea. Like I literally just reached out to you because I was like, man, this would be really cool to talk. So talk to me, man. What is this project? You know, people gonna put a timestamp on you now. See,
They are
you
now.
put it out there.
Pressure's on now, right? So, I first of all, it needs to be known that when I do albums, I do concept albums. Right.
Yep.
And funny thing is, it's not that I set out to do a concept album. It's just that that's what it always grows and morphs into. So my first full-fledged Christian album was called The Life of My Story. The premise behind it is it's basically showing, it's dealing with the fact that the biblical truth that we were dead in sin,
Right.
but we were made alive in Christ. Like I'd have no story if it was not for the life-giving power of Christ, right? And so it was a gospel-centered, Christ-centered project in which each song dealt with some aspect of the gospel and the life-giving power that the gospel provides, even in terms of application, in terms of, and just in terms of doctrine, whatever. And so originally when I wrote when I was doing the album, as I was recording, I was like, man, I think I might want to put some Bible studies to this. So because one of the things I knew right away, I am not your play T Barlow at the party type of guy. Play T Barlow at the skating rink. Like no, T Barlow is like grab you something to drink, or if you smoke cigars, if that's your thing, whatever, sit down, put on an album, maybe crack open your body and sit and listen. Maybe it's your road trip. Let me just ride while I'm riding. Let me listen to it. That's the type of album. This is a sit down and listen album. This is not these are not club bangers. Right. And so forth. And so I remember thinking like of creating like a study guide to go along with it, like when I first did it, and I actually never did. But I've toyed with this idea, and so I actually, with all the albums and like whether it be the underground mixtapes, I got ideas for books because they're all concepts, albums,
Gotcha.
Concept projects, and it's like, yo, like because where I'm sitting at now, I realized like, man, it's almost like I built the world. And what I mean by that is, it's like because I watch a lot of anime and so forth, and read a lot. As you can see, comic books and stuff in my background and all that. It's like I built this world, so to speak, where it's like, you have these different albums, but they all fit within the same context of this sovereign God, this sinful man, and this sufficient Christ. And so I was like, yo, okay, so I can actually create like a complete, like, I actually have a series of books. And so this first book is called The Life of My Story, a theological treatise on the doctrines of grace through lyrical testimony. And I started off by saying, if one is not careful, he or she could easily make the mistake of thinking this book is about me. Spoiler alert, it isn't. In fact, I've grown tired of the notion that the power of the gospel message lies in our testimonies. In a society where people are adamant about promoting their truth, we've created a socially acceptable narcissism, one that's applauded even as it declares the villain of the story to be the hero. So then what is the truth? The truth is, I am the villain in this story. I am the rebel. I am the lawbreaker. I am the hard-headed. I am the stiff-necked. I am the pervert. I am the thief. I am the liar. I am the cheater. I am the profane. I am the backstabber. I am the addict. I am the drunkard. I am the womanizer. I am the hustler. I am the conspirator. I am not the center of the story. I am the center of the story. And so from there,
I gotta look. You gotta end it with, "You're not David." You're not David, bro.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I take some painstakingly great lengths to go to say, like, listen, you're not to read this to look at me as an example, as the high level example. You know what I'm saying? It's Christ who is at the center of all of this. And what this does is, man, like it gives people an opportunity now, because here's what happens. And there was another Christian artist who's been talking about this lately. KRS-One, to quote a heathen, said rap is he said rap is what you do, hip hop is what you live, right? Now remember,
Right.
G. Craig Lewis had us thinking that hip hop was just
Oh,
straight
yeah.
their mind. But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
no, in the context of Christian living, hip hop is all about lifestyle. So Christian hip hop should really be about the Christian lifestyle, right? So like you have your praise and your worship, which is really about like the emotion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is what a lot of people love. You know, like emotion is where it's at in the churches, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to like art that talks about the lifestyle, like that's almost foreign and like a new concept in a sense, which is why Christian hip hoppers are often looked at it as second class citizens
Right.
in the gospel industry or even in the church, really, right? And so this deals with the lifestyle. But what happens is oftentimes a lot of your Christian rappers, and I mean this with the utmost respect, they really do like this humble brag sort of thing as opposed to really taking the time out to bring forth doctrine. Not all of them,
Right.
right? Lyrical theology. Because when we first came in with Shylin, we were hearing some lyrical theology with him, with Timothy Brenda, with humble beat. You know, we were being taught through the rhymes. Whereas now it's all about, you know, flossing for Christ or whatever that being swagged out, saints, you know, whatever. I don't know. And so stuff gets lost. And so what it is I take each song, I'm taking each song and I put the lyrics up and like, you know, look, and then now I'm gonna break it out either by bar or by rhyme scheme, right? And so the stuff that you may have missed when you were listening to the song, if you ever listened to the song, or stuff that you may have missed if you ever seen me perform the song, now you get a chance to kind of like zoom in. So let me give you an example. Like, for example, I have the song called Witness. And I start the song off with make a lecca high, make a hiney ho. It's not the magical that is grace and election be like IBM compatible. Now, taking that scheme right there, and you know, you look at like that opening line, make a lecca high, make a hiney ho. You know where that comes from?
It's like either a cartoon or something. It's something like that. I remember hearing it.
Pee Wee's Playhouse.
There you go. Yes, there you go.
Yeah, the genie for Pee Wee's Playhouse, right? But why would I start off with that? Well, a couple of reasons. For one, this is hip hop because it goes make a lecca high, make a hiney ho, you know, right? You know, that's a little hip hop thing, right? But then I'd be like, it's nothing magical that is grace and election, be like God being compatible. What I'm doing is now, it's like, hey, God is not somebody up there working magic. We're talking about an all-powerful God here, you know, and his grace and his election like goes hand in hand like peas and carrots. You know, this is something that a sovereign God is working from his power, not from some conjuring. It's not about magic. It's not about mysticism. It's not about esoteric. No, it's you know, it's like I'm taking time to like really like flesh these things out and say like, you know, I have a biblical reason for this. I had this other scheme, and this is the only other scheme I'm gonna give you, where I say, we were falling in our natural life, Bokeem Woodbine, we just can't get right. We never had good minds and we hated the light, right? A lot of my friends, like, they never really caught that. We're falling in our natural life. You know, the movie starring Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, right?
Yep.
And then you had Bokeem Woodbine, which people like to call Evil Dave Chappelle, right?
Yeah. Can't get right.
He played Can't Get Right. We were falling in our natural life. Bokeem Woodbine, we just can't get right. We never had good minds. And we hated the light under which the truth shine. You'll imagine our plight, the letters to the cross with an immaculate sight given by amazing grace. He is our lamp in the night. You know what I mean? And so it is. And I just take the time to really take those schemes and then show where in scripture I'm pulling this from and then fleshing that out. So there's some exegesis taking place over the text. Where I'm taking time to say, hey, listen, we see this scripture right here. You probably heard it in church, maybe you didn't, but here's the context to that scripture now. Here's what the author intended us to hear. So, like, yeah, that's what this book is, and I'm doing it in such a way to where, like, a layman can pick it up and understand exactly what I'm saying.
Right.
And the way I'm structuring this book is like in the introduction. I spend time in the introduction, telling my story for context for the music, and then breaking down the doctrines of grace. So like, yes, I actually hit on the tulip and just take some time to explain that. And I do that because if you make it through the introduction, The rest of the book, you don't have to read chapter 1, 2, 3, go 1, 2, 3, 4, like in order. You can actually pick up, like there may be a particular song that you like that you want to know more about. You can open up, as long as you've read the introduction, you can open up the chapter on that particular song and know exactly, because it's not like building blocks after that point. The introduction does all the building. After that, it's man, you can pick up anywhere you want to, and I'm doing that by design, so that
Mm-hmm.
you can you can either sit and read it page by page, which would be great, or you can go to whatever song you're interested in knowing more about and get fed that way. So yeah, man, I'm excited about that. And
I love it, fam. I love it. That the bar folks that might still be around that still know me
yeah,
know that I'm not the avid reader, but listen, I'm getting that, and that just the way you break down how it's going to relate to the tracks, that in itself is fire, man. Like I'm excited for you. I mean, you got to do it now. Like, yeah, there ain't no backing out, Barlow. I'm just going to tell you. Ain't no backing out on it, man. So, but
indeed, like I take time, like every night I sit and I work every night. I take a little time to so yeah. I'm
good.
hoping. I don't know how long it'll take me, but I got goals. I got goals to have it done before midsummer. At least have it finished, like fully written, and then we'll see. It's my first time writing a book. I don't know what it takes.
I
And
love it.
so yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I get enough of a draft up, I definitely may I don't know how, like I may send you like a chapter or something.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like to read, and so that way, like when I get the book printed, you can have your little comments on the back.
Okay.
The way,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'm on. Kasi did that for me. Like Kasi sent me the rough draft and let me. Yeah, I'm on the back of a book somewhere.
yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah,
So
probably
yeah,
get Virgil.
definitely.
I love to get Virgil and Daryl. Just
Oh, bruh, you
yeah,
already know.
yeah. You
No,
maybe
absolutely, fam.
put it in the hands of
Absolutely.
some people.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
gonna say you still good with what's his name from Wretched um
Oh, you talking about Ty Friel?
yeah
Look, I got his number somewhere.
yeah like Tyler, I got a book for you.
Listen,
Yeah.
listen, when you real talk. When you
Yeah.
ready, because my
Yeah.
Rolodex is crazy, man. I've been
Yeah.
doing this. I mean, we
Yeah.
just talked about it over 10 years, man. So
Yeah, man. It's crazy how I mean, like how it just grew into like
mm-hmm.
the network, and then like now I see people, man, like who are part like right now, like even like Chris K-Dub, like the way
Yeah.
he's been going strong, and his all things theology right now is I man, like I love watching this show. I was watching it yesterday. I was like, man, he just have good shows and good sound bites and stuff.
Man, really good content. Another one that is kind of blowing up is April.
Yeah.
April.
Yeah.
Because April, a lot of people don't know, man. April had no intentions to podcast, and I had her and Chrissy, like I was trying to get them off the ground and running, man, because I knew that concept would work.
Yeah.
And and she told me, like, after the fact, she's like, you're pushing back then and always believing in me, that's some of the things that encouraged me to move forward, man. And she's been killing the game.
Yeah, man. I know that there's some folks who don't like her, but you can't be mad that she be out there saying right stuff. Like, oh,
Bro,
what can you say?
hey, listen.
Yo.
I mean,
what Bodie said, you can't say amen. You gotta say ouch.
Gotta say ouch, man. Gotta say ouch. Yeah, no, man. It's amazing to see. And man, this almost feel like a like the finale tour or something, man. We just talking and reminiscing. Did the same thing with Virgil yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, man. It was really good, man. So Barlow, I'm getting ready to close this thing out, brother. Thank you for coming on, man. I know you're super busy. You got 5 jobs like a Jamaican, and you're writing the book.
Yo, lazy boy, I only got 2 jobs. Yeah. Hey, somebody in the comments on the Being Not Deceived, Jonah, my man Jonah, there is a song dropping tonight with me on there. Me and
nice.
him. And it's called "I Wish That I Could Tell It." And I have a particular mix. He's dropping his mix tonight and so forth, man. So just y'all follow me, you'll find it and so forth. And like, yeah, so shout out to Solomonic Journey or whatnot. That's his name. And yeah, man, a lot of exciting things.
Actually, you know what, Barlow? If you got a few more minutes, I wanna ask you your thoughts on this because this recently, so everybody might know, I went through this whole bodybuilding thing, and
Yeah, you
I
ripped now.
spent hours at the gym,
You
and
jacked now. Yeah.
and so the rebelliousness in me at one point in time like went hardcore secular when I left. Like I felt like I needed the hardcore, right? I was
Mhm,
like, listen, I'm talking about I brought up all the craziness. And
mhm,
then it started affecting me. And I was like, okay, let me back up. But then I found what they call gritty hip hop.
mhm.
And honestly, you have the vibe already because it's really gritty is kind of like boom bap, like our vibe already. It's almost
Yeah.
like and so I found some guys, man, and they've been really like I've enjoyed their music. Some places, you can tell there's some development that needs to happen. But have you? I mean, I know you have, because I know you keep your ear to the streets, man. So what is your take on that? Because that's my new favorite to work out to. Like in my playlist, like I
Mhm.
got you in there, but I got a lot of those gritty boys in there, man. So
Yeah, man. So man, I think that, but it's funny because I just had this sermon last week. I preached from 1 Corinthians 10, and I think that the Christian's duty is to not consume entertainment mindlessly.
mm,
You know what I mean?
mm,
I think we ought to have like when I say an open mind, I don't mean like as in just receiving things, but just saying
right.
like, hey, be aware. Like, what are
Yes.
you hearing? How would you respond to somebody? Somebody said this to you into your face.
Yes.
How would you
Yes.
respond to somebody invited you into this? Like that type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And so some folks, like, it bothers them. It's just like, yeah, nah, I don't want anything to do it. And I get that. But for me, like like it helps me. Like I do. I work in a whole prison. I'm surrounded by vulgarity all day.
Right.
Like like like
Right.
and so it helps me to be able to know what's going through their hearts and minds, and then how to
Mm-hmm.
bring the gospel into conflict with that. But then
Mm-hmm.
also, man, like I believe, when I talk about like the earth, when we talk about the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, and so
Right.
forth. Like people are taking these things. That's the reason why I do like the Underground Railroad, where I take like secular instrumentals
Mm-hmm.
and rewrite brand new songs. Not, I don't do copy changes. I rewrite brand new songs just to show, like,
Right.
man, because I think that as Christians we make dope art. So I don't again, if it's one thing to mindlessly consume it and let it
Mm-hmm.
affect you and let it influence you, but it's
Mm-hmm.
another thing to listen to it, to understand what you're listening to, and to realize, like, yo, it's almost, to me, it's almost like how football teams could study the enemy's gameplay.
Right. Right.
Like you seeing what they're doing. It's like, man, now strategizing and so forth. There's some guys. You ever you listen to Coach Contra?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, yeah. Listen, them boys, like, I hope and pray, because I hear certain stuff in their lyrics, so I'll be like, man, they know God. Like, they know God
Mm-hmm.
exists.
Yep.
Like if there needs to be like a final push or something. Like, I don't know where they are. I feel like them boys are like on the brink. But
They
but
there,
but
man.
but talent wise and
Mm-hmm.
creative wise, it's like, yo, like, they are putting out some good art.
Yeah.
And especially like in the culture of hip hop, where you just like, yo, like you don't even see crews like this anymore.
No.
You
No.
don't, and here's the thing about their crew. I was watching them. I was showing some of the boys at the prison. And so I was like, man, like, here's the crazy thing. Usually, like, in a crew, you got one guy who stands out, and the other guys are just, yeah,
Uh-uh.
whatever. They
All
don't
of them.
have a weak link at
All of
all.
them.
Like 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 they do not have a weak link at all. Now, Eric Jamal may be everybody's favorite, maybe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because at first, but like when you go back, you listen to these other guys, it's like, yo, like, none of them
Uh-huh.
are weak, like, at all, right?
No, that's
And
true.
so like and I listen to them, and then and like the stuff that they're saying, like, yes, they say some ignorant, sinful stuff. I'm
Of
not gonna act
course.
like they don't. But sometimes on the back end, man, like, they're saying some stuff where it's just like, yo, this is
Yep.
good. This is solid. This is a good way of processing this. This is a good way to think. So
Facts.
and again, I definitely say, man, it's a good way to stay informed. It's a good way to know what it is that we're bringing the gospel into conflict with. And also, man, like just let's face it, like that, those beats come with that energy, man. Like
Yeah, that's
like it
true.
shows you, that assertiveness, that I don't want to say aggression oftentimes, but
Right.
yeah, indeed. You know, I mean, anybody out there listening to Beethoven trying to work out, they ain't doing it right. You know, yeah.
Right.
And so, you know, it's funny, man. You bring up the gritty thing. I was going through like all the music on my phone, and I came across the song that I did for your competition. And I was just
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is. And the video you did to it, I was like, yo, that video made the song look like that much doper. Like I was like, oh,
Hey,
yeah,
listen, bro, you killed that joint. That
yeah,
joint was legit, fam.
yeah,
Can you
yeah.
hear that in the background?
I can't hear anything in the background.
Okay, good. All right, just making
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
look, I'm on the clock, so I got stuff going, man. But
Yeah, yeah,
Barlow,
yeah.
I'll let you get to it, big dog. I appreciate you so much, my friend.
No problem,
And
man.
make sure y'all
Appreciate
pick
you.
up that book, man. Till next time.
Yep. Grace and peace.